There are 4 laws that makes for encounter with the Father. The first is the law of bodies. When the Spirit wants to encounter you, there are many dynamics of the Spirit that is activated. Spirits will always woo you to where they are. So most times when the Spirit wants to encounter you, he will first of all initiate either a body or a summon in your spirit man. You may be doing and living your life comfortably until one day you lose your peace and you are finding out what is the matter, and there is no cognitive word to interact, to interpret it. A spirit is beginning to summon you. When a generation does not understand the language of bodies, there will be scarcity of encounters. Many are hoping that the Lord will walk into their bedroom and encounter them, but most times God is summoning you from Egypt to Horeb. But the bodies he brings to your spirit, you trivialize them. You wake up in the morning, it looks like you want to eat, and then when you went to touch the food becomes like a sin. You want to eat it, it looks like a sin. There is an encounter at the corridor. So the Holy Ghost is trying to get you to turn to him. If you fail to pay attention to that body, you will abort an encounter. Moses was in Egypt doing very well. He was one of the candidates that will become princes or kings to inherit Pharaoh, to succeed Pharaoh. But a day came, all of a sudden, Moses was troubled. Why are the Israelites being malhandled? I am also an Israelite. He thought it was a body. He stepped out and he wanted to kill every Egyptian. It was not about killing an Egyptian. The encounter of his destiny was coming to him in form of a body. And Moses will not interpret it correctly. How many Egyptians will you kill? It was not about the Egyptians. It was about the calling that was upon his life. So when God wanted to turn his attention and draw him from Egypt, he put a burden in his heart. In that dissatisfaction, he was supposed to seek God. There are times when you sit down, you become dissatisfied with the state of your family. How come people are struggling to get married while we are beautiful? It's not about marriage. An encounter is inviting you. Many times you sit down, why are debts in this family? It's not about the debt. An encounter is inviting you. Many times you are troubled, why is nobody succeeding? Are we not supposed to? Are we not good enough? An encounter is inviting you. When a burden begins to come to your spirit, shut down. That's a man who understands the law of body and begin to entreat the Lord. What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? Not long enough. As you service that body, you will begin to hear sounds. So many other elements that travel to your space with that body will begin to lend themselves to you. And you stood up before. The body was about death. The body was about lack of success. And you started praying. After a while, that same body now begins to talk to you in intangible but very cognitive terms. Add fasting to this prayer. And then you added fasting. You don't know what you are doing. You have fasted for 20 days. You don't even know why you are fasting, but the body will not go. And as you are servicing that body in prayer and in fasting, when you read the 30th day, you say add worship. And then you add worship. You didn't know what you were doing. At the end of the day, you are climbing Horeb. It's a 40 days journey. You are climbing, you are not aware. If you continue for a while, you will discover that you will hit a zenith in the spirit. And one day, the same prayers you have been praying, the same fasting you have been fasting, while you are yet fasting, you will encounter the Father and he will begin to speak to you. And that day the Father will let you know the death was an excuse to bring you to the mountain of encounter. Daniel said, I understood by books that the years of captivity of Israel was supposed to be 70, and then he began to entreat the Lord for 21 days. He thought he was praying for Israel's deliverance. When he prayed for 21 days, an angel showed up. He said, I was given speed to fly fast, to meet you and to give you skill and understanding. So the prayer activated an encounter with the cherubim. But Daniel thought it was a body. Most of the encounters that would have changed your life, they came to you in form of bodies, but you were not aware, so you aborted them. You woke up in the morning, you felt like fasting. You say, oh boy, this is no easy. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow may not be the Kairos moment. Tomorrow may not be the Kairos moment. Tomorrow, no. it's not everybody that will encounter God in a conference. It's not everybody that will encounter God by laying on of hands. We have different ways of responding to God. And God knows the way he fabricated you in the studio of eternity. So many times he knows the language that will reach you fast is the language of burden, because you are a man that pay attention to details, and he brought burden, but you aborted it. How many burdens have we aborted that have denied us life-changing encounters? Many things waiting in the spirit, but we can't travel there. We can't travel there. When Moses left Egypt for 40 years, he kept that burden in his heart. He kept it until one day the Bible said he went to the backside of the desert, and as he was there, he saw a bush burning that was not consumed. The first thing God began to do was to talk to him about Israel, because God knew that was the burden of his heart. How many burdens will our generation abort? The devil knows this intelligence. That's why when you look around you, everywhere is littered with distractions. Those are burden aborters. You are the burden, and all of a sudden you step into the parlor and they are watching a seasonal movie, and then you sit down and say, after a while you say, wait, you now sit. After a while you now bring your pillow and lie down. You didn't know that that was a clinical abortion taking place. When you finish watching that seasonal movie, you will stand up, and the burden you carried from the bedroom, you can't find it anymore. You will go back to your religious prayer, Shabba, 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 Shabba. You will do Shabba, Shabba, Shabba for another 3 years, because you lost a Kairos moment. Many don't enter the gates of encounter. We believe so much in activities. Powerful men are not just given to activities, they are given to moments. Did you not see the man that was at the pool of Bethesda for 38 years? You know he's a man of activity, because even when Jesus came in the flesh, he couldn't discern him. They said, would you be made whole? They said, I've been here for 38 years. They didn't ask you for how long you have been here. Activities have distracted you. Would you be made whole? I've been here for 30. Who asked you how long you have been here? That's why every time the water is stirred, that's when he's distracted. And that you are there for 40 years will not create any change. There are allocations of the spirit realm ready. When your Kairos moment come, will you know? Jesus said in Luke 19:44, he said there will be gnashing of teeth. He said the city will be besieged on every side. He said many will weep. Why? Because they know not the times of their visitation. When men are preparing for war, that's when some go to have pleasure. And he said, woe unto you if your prince is a child, and eat for pleasure and not for strength. It's not every night that men should sleep. There are certain nights that a burden comes upon you. If you need to put your leg in water to pray till morning, put your leg in water. By all means, have that encounter. Every time there is an alteration in spiritual frequency, make sure you isolate the counsel of God that came with it. That's what will make your life relevant. You can be promoted in the spirit 7 times in 1 year if you can maximize it. That's why you look at certain men, you say, why is God favoring this person? God is not a respecter of person. The man just knows how to maximize spiritual moments. If God favors men, he would have been biased, but God is not biased. The man has 7 encounters in 1 year. He entered all of them. You have 13 encounters. You entered 1. How do you think you can be the same with that man? You may disciple him in Bible school. He can become your pastor. Burdens. The language of burdens. They are not tangible, but they are heavy. No man can deny it. So God himself will put it upon you. Even if you are sleeping, sometimes God wakes you up in the night and you don't know why you woke up. You try to play music to sleep, you can't sleep. Be wise. There's an angel lurking by the corner. There's a message from heaven. There's a message. When you find out that unexplainable things begin to happen around your life, shut down your natural elements, because you need to heighten your spiritual propensity. Attendance to burden is one of the ways of maximizing spiritual realities. But many don't know the language of burdens. They say, I don't know how I was feeling. You don't know how you were feeling. It's a language of the spirit. Find out what it means. Go on your knees. Take a fast quickly, because a window has opened in the spirit. Hey,